When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Not that quick glance while you're brushing your teeth. I mean, when you actually stop, when you really look yourself in the eye. Do you see someone you love? Do you see someone that you even like? Are you being honest with yourself? Taking in the beauty alongside the imperfections? Or are your eyes going straight to the parts you can't stand and then making those parts the whole of who you are? I want you to sit with that question for a second, because I think most of us already know the answer, and it hurts a little, and it should, because here's the truth. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And for a lot of us, for most of my life, the relationship looked less like love and a whole lot more like war. And I think that's for a lot of you. I want to tell you something, and I don't say this lightly. It took me over a half a century to love the woman in my mirror. Half a century, 50 plus years of looking at her and seeing mostly what was wrong. The failures, the fears, the things that she wasn't, the way she didn't measure up. I had spent so much time cataloging her faults that when the time came to love her, I didn't know how. It felt almost foreign, like trying to speak a language I'd never been taught. Loving her wasn't easy. It wasn't a moment. It wasn't a decision I had made once and was done with it. It was a fight, a daily, sometimes hourly fight to stop letting that old voice win. The one that had been whispering since I was a little girl, growing up poor, scraping by, believing that people like me didn't get to be more. That voice was loud, and I had been listening to it for a long time. There's a quote I love, and it says, "It's not about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself, because your mind believes your own image and turns it into your reality." Let me say that again. Your mind believes your own image. So whatever you rehearse in your head about who you are, capable or not, worthy or not, beautiful or broken, your mind takes that story and builds your entire life around it. And it's not neutral. It's not passive. It's constantly working to prove whatever you've decided is true about yourself. So if you walk past that mirror every single day, and that story you're telling is I'm too much, or I am not enough, or I'm past my prime, whatever story it is you're saying, your mind will spend every single waking hour collecting evidence to prove you are right. That is terrifying, because most of us have been telling the wrong story for years. I know I was. Now let me be clear. I don't stand here and tell you I love her now because I think she's perfect. I don't. I see her clearly. The rough edges, the places she still needs to grow, the ways she occasionally lets fear talk louder than faith. Yep. But here's the difference now. I see all of it, not just the parts I hate, all of it. I see the woman who has fought to be standing there. I see someone who survived things that should have broken her. And I chose to keep going anyway. I see someone who raised kids through storms most people don't have to face, who spent years pouring herself out for everyone else and finally starting to pour back into herself. I see her value. her real value, not the kind that comes from what you produce or how you perform, whether everyone approves, because they're not going to. The kind that is, because you are a human being made with purpose and worth and a story that isn't finished yet. I love who she is today, and I do, but I do not want to be her tomorrow. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning, keep becoming. The areas that she still needs to work on, those aren't flaws I'm ashamed of anymore. They're just the next part of the journey. And honestly, they're part of her beauty. I never thought I could get there and say that. There's another quote I want to leave in your bones today. If you're searching for that one person who will change your life, take a look in the mirror. That person, the one you keep waiting for them to show up and tell you that you're enough, the one that's going to believe in you, fight for you, see your potential, and refuse to let you quit, the one who's going to love you through your mess, your fear, your not yet seasons, that person is you. And she's been there the whole time. Now, I know some of you are thinking, because I thought it too. Easy to say, Janae. Hard to do. You're right, it is hard. And I'm not going to insult you by pretending it's a 5-step process or it's easy. It's not. It took me decades of survival, of heartbreak, of hitting walls, of having the right people speak the right truth into me, and then slowly starting to believe it. It took a mentor, Chris, who asked, "What did you learn?" instead of pointing fingers at my failures. It took a woman named Tiffany and Tony who looked me in the eye and said, this was about me, not my husband, not my kids, not my role, me. It took standing in front of a room full of women in Albuquerque and pressing an arrow against my throat and stepping forward into the thing that terrified me the most. It took getting quiet enough to hear a different voice, a truer one, the one that said, you were made for more than this. So here's what I want to ask you today. And I want you to actually think about it. Not just hear it and scroll on, but really think. What story have you been telling about that person in your mirror? Is it the same story you've been telling yourself for 20 years, 30 years, 50? Because here's the thing about stories. They aren't permanent. They are not facts carved in stone. They are narratives. And narratives can be rewritten. How amazing is that? You can look at that same face, that same woman, those same eyes, and decide to tell a different story. Not a fake story, not a pretend everything is fine story, a true story. One that includes the hard things, the losses, the failures, the fears, but also includes the strength, the resilience, the fact that you are still here, still standing, still showing up. That's not nothing. That is everything. I want you to do something this week. Not because I have all the answers, but because it worked for me. And I believe it will work for you. The next time you catch your reflection, stop. Don't walk away. Don't look for the flaws. Look her in the eye or him in the eye and say out loud. And yes, out loud, even if it feels ridiculous, I see you and I am proud of you. You don't have to believe it fully yet. You won't. You just have to start. Because here's what I've learned after 60 years on this earth. Love grows where you water it. So start watering yourself. Dreams don't expire, friend, and neither does the chance to finally fall in love with the person you've been all along. I'll see you next time. Thank you for spending this time with me and for listening with an open heart, for choosing to invest in your growth today. If this episode spoke to you, I would love for you to share it with someone else who just may need the reminder that their dreams still matter. Sometimes one conversation, one message, one moment of encouragement can change everything. And if you want to go deeper, my book, Rise, Believe, Become, was written with you in mind. There is more out there for you. Your potential is so much bigger than you'll know. This is your time to find the courage to take the next step in your journey. You can find my book on Amazon. This is just Janae reminding you that no matter what phase you are in, your dreams don't expire. Until next time, keep rising.